Welcome to the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club. Today, coming up, we have a premier men's match between Burnaby Lake and Seattle Rugby, who've made the trip up the I-5 from Seattle. So today's game, as always, is brought to you by Mark-On Homes. For more than 30 years, Mark-On Homes has been a trusted name in the Vancouver construction community. Whether you're looking for a low-rise, high-rise, townhome, retail center, or industrial park, Mark-On has built them all with quality. Current projects include the Maribel on Davie Street in Vancouver, the Taylor in the Brentwood neighborhood here in Burnaby, and the Elmwood in Coquitlam, with numerous other projects in the development phase all over the Lower Mainland. So many of them landmark buildings that stand out and transform the community. Mark-On has been a longtime supporter of grassroots rugby in Burnaby, backing not just the BLRC, but also school programs like Burn Creek Secondary School. So thank you very much, Mark-On, for your contributions to support and making it happen. The teams are getting ready to take the field in a few minutes. You see in the background the women's teams that just ended their game. Burnaby Lake claimed to win over Seattle 33-5, so we'll await the premier men coming out, and we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll join you soon. All right, we're back. We're going to be here today with my colleague Alec Douglas, former teammate, another current coach of the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club, longtime member. We'll go through the Seattle roster right now. We got number 1, Kellen Gordon, former Seattle Seawolf, probably from the very beginning. Number 2, Ethan Smith, and Lou, and hopefully I get these names right, Ellen Hughes. Does that sound about right to you, Alec?
I think you have to accentuate the ooze in the middle.
Ooze,
So Alan Ooze.
Second row, Chase Bates and Jamie Demers. Number 6, Aiden Carlisle. Number 7, Tomasi Pulatu. And number 8, Eric Soto will be their danger man. I'm sure they'll be looking forward to pick up some yards. Big character. Been around Seattle for a long time, though I heard he'd left for a few years. Real good player. Looking forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him on the field here in many, many years. Number 9, Jack Cannon. Number 10, longtime veteran and fly half Johnny Reed. Number 11, Hiro Naka. Yeah, there's another one. Nakach. We'll call him Hiro. He's my hero, I think.
It's actually Hiro.
Hiro, there we go.
Nakjima.
There we go. Alec will do all the talking when he has the ball. Wilson Vasu, for God's sakes.
Yes, let's figure that one out, Mike.
Wilson Vasu Kalakiba.
Let's just call him Wilson.
Wilson it is. Matt Brennan, Matt Pacheco, and Ian Wright. The bench have Alex Cannon, Jasper Bowen Shepherd, James Kawanui, Brandon Tupufua. A lot of Polynesian flair in this lineup today. Ian Crilly, Ronald Dwyer, and Neori Drew.
A question I have for you, Mike. Oh, my goodness, they just smashed into each other. That's okay. Question I have for you is a double, a name with a last name with two names. Does that mean that you're classy and wealthy?
I believe it does.
I was watching the Scotland-England game, which I don't know if you know this, but Scotland beat England today, and they had a bunch of Jack Van Portfleet and names of double cannon last names, which I think is just a symbol of wealth.
Nothing worse than English people with 2 last names.
Well, there is something worse than an English person with last name. That's one English person with one last name, and that is Simon Smolden. That is true. That is the worst.
This is true. We got the Burnaby lineup there. Not a lot of changes from the last game. We have the Leet Bardawaj, Evan Mackey, and Captain Bryce Warden. Number 4, Cooper Johnston returns to the Premier lineup. Ethan Soden will join him in the second row. David Dinbandu, Dom Baptista, and the new guy, Callum Crookshank, recently arrived from Scotland. Played a little Scotland U18. Speaking of Scottish guys, I'm sure he's happy about the result of the game this morning.
I imagine he would be. We beat England this morning, which is the first time in 40 years at Twickenham that we beat England. I was actually awake for the game, Mike, which doesn't really happen all that often on Saturday mornings.
No, I watched some of the Ireland-Wales game, but I wasn't able to see the Scotland one. So, number 9, Ezekiel Rossetti, 10, Neil McLean. The wingers are Brian Fitzpatrick and Jack Gelbart. Connor Bryan and Scotty Barr at 12 and 13, and Ethan Turner at 15. On the bench, you have Chase McCrum, Liam Jung, and Juan Videla in the front row. Ishmael Lima in the covering second row. Kimi Vunataraga and Darius Towers in the back row. They've gone with a 6-2 split. And Dean McMahon covering the fly half and scrum half position, along with Darren McCrory, longtime player. So the teams are taking the field. We're getting ready for kickoff. We have the legendary Dave Smorchevsky is the man in the middle, along with touch judges Tom Cooper and Christine Lovett.
Question for you, Mike. Do you know where Bryce Warden is from originally?
Bryce Warden is from Sussex. He's one of my, I want to say, countrymen from the East Coast with me.
What a surprise.
I brought him out here. He's my guy. So look forward to seeing how the game turns out. Seattle, always tough. Easier to play, I think, on the road than at home, that's for sure.
Border security, huh? What a thing.
It is.
I have an interesting tidbit, a relationship with Mr. Smorchevsky, the referee. His brother played for years at Capilano, and him and I were friends at one point. But then I entered a ruck illegally, and his leg was broken, and he has never forgiven me.
You have a lot of relationships like that.
Yeah. There's many people who don't like me.
Hard to believe, isn't it?
I like the fit of the new jerseys. I got to be honest with you. They really flatter the body. I wish I was playing again because I feel like I would look pretty decent in one of these jerseys.
Alec, you would look decent in everything. Yes, the jerseys, new set of jerseys, new kit sponsor, the Rugby Shop.
Seattle in a traditional green and blue, which is a sign of encouragement in the traditional sense. Getting
ready for kickoff. The Burnaby Lake Premier team not happy with the game balls provided by the Burnaby Lake Premier team. Prima donnas. I got to tell you, they're just infuriating. Great looking jerseys, though.
I think that's called a Brian Fitzpatrick.
I'll let the good people at Gilbert know that the most expensive game Premier rugby balls they have are not good enough for our guys.
Any idea, Mike? I don't really follow standings all that well. Any idea how Seattle is doing in the standings so far?
I believe they're 1-4. I think I'll actually look that up.
I think if that's the case, Burnaby has also struggled out of the gates. But health and fitness and guys coming back and the organization at training has really been shining through. I expect them to really put Seattle to the pump today. That's my hope, and I think that's going to be my prediction.
Yeah, if you look at the standings, I think Burnaby Lake started the season playing the number 1, 2, and 3 teams, and they were winning all 3 games in the second half, and I actually believe that they should be in that same group, top 3 teams, but they let it get away from the second half, whether it was fitness or something else. Seattle putting up a pretty good fight there in the scrums. They get the ball out. You see Johnny Reed sending it into the centers. That'd be big number 12, Wilson. Nice crash. Jamie Demers taken down. Ooh, not a good pass there from Johnny Reed. Johnny has been playing Premier 10 for Seattle for about as long as I can remember, so it's at least they came back to the Premier League. Real solid veteran player, doesn't make a ton of errors. That one was uncharacteristic of him. I've been watching him play for years, got a great boot on him. Oh, gave the ball away. It looks like Callum Cruikshank. Whoa, that was a big dump tackle there. Neil McLean running. He's past him. Pops into Connor Byron, who should go in untouched.
I'm not great at spelling, but I believe that's called a T-R-Y. Try.
That is a try. So I think the Seattle, I believe the center, possibly my guy Wilson, Vasuka Lakiba, probably lucky to get away with the way he put down Callum Cruikshank. Put him down a little hard with Callum's feet up in the air, but we'll take the try. So nice try there from Connor Byron.
Question for you. I just heard Legit yell out, "We build it more." Do you think that is a reference to the border wall to the south?
I don't believe so.
Just a query.
Fair. You see Brian Fitzpatrick getting ready to attempt the conversion right in front of the post. He should make pretty quick work of this. Got a pretty reliable boot on him.
He does have a weird shimmy before he kicks. I've seen him on a dance floor before. He uses the same shimmy to entice ladies. He didn't do it there, unfortunately. But you'll see it in the future because I believe we're going to score more tries.
I think we should see some if that's a start. Yeah, Burnaby Lake takes an early 7-0 lead.
Seattle's always a different beast on the road compared to home. It's a difficult thing being a team south of the border, having to try and get across the border and enough players to come up here and play. It's always a credit to them that they make the travel and make the journey. Alternatively, it's always the best trip of the season is heading south to Seattle. It's David Dibindahu with 2 knock-ons off the kickoffs, unfortunately. Looked like David took quite a bit of a knock there, falling awkwardly on his back. He's a tough character, though. I think he's going to pop back up.
Touch Judge Tom Cooper and Dave Smorchevsky having a little conversation there.
Just a reminder from the last time I was here, Connor Byron scored the try there. The world's largest Pokemon collection is, from what I remember. But I talked to him recently, and he said that he sold all of his Pokemons. He's out of the game.
Well, you know, with interest rates being as they are, the recession possibly looming.
But he spent the money on Playmobil characters, not the actual structures, but the actual characters.
No kidding.
He's got Bob the Builder, not Bob the Builder because I don't want to trademark usages, but a builder that looks like maybe Bob. He's also got a gardener, and he's got 3 school teachers.
That is fascinating stuff. That's a good bit of information. Not a lot of people would have got that information from the player.
You know, when you're in the showers after the game, Mike, you get really deep insights.
Why are you in the showers with them?
It's the best part of rugby.
We get to see Evan Mackey here with a line-out. Ball's into Cooper Johnson. They go off the top. Ezekiel Rossetti to Neil McLean. He's going to pop it to Big Ethan Soden, who's going to enter contact. Great ball carrier. Nice clean out there from David Dinbandu. And now you see Lalit Bardawaj. Ooh, uh-oh. The interception to the veteran, Johnny Reed.
Oh, was that one of those 50-50s we talked about
There's
before?
Wilson. Tripped up by Neil McLean. A tackle from Lalit Bardawaj and Evan Mackey. Front row on front row. There's another one. That's Lou Alanews. Taken down.
Well used to the use.
Now Wilson, tackled by Scotty Barr. Got his head in there. Oh, ref says it's okay. Evan Mackey now with the tackle on Ethan Smith. David Dinbandu over the ball. That's what David does. Yeah, David Smorchevsky is going to give the penalty. Great job of David Dinbandu to get over the ball there. That's he does that so well. Long-time center, used to being around the ball, gets over it, and yes, Seattle not able to clean it out fast enough.
Perhaps his name shouldn't be David Dinbandu, but David Dinbad.
Maybe it should be, Alec. Maybe it should be. Great kick there. Fine touch further down the field.
Question for you. Cooper Johnson's dad, legend.
Yep. Legend.
Who do we like more?
Oh, Cooper, no question.
Okay.
Cooper has never called me a name. He's never been grouchy to me. He's just a pleasant, good-looking guy.
I think that's because his dad put so much fear in him as he was growing up. Seattle, as Burnaby is filling out these jerseys really lovely, Seattle seems a little light on the jerseys. They're not really bulking those jerseys up. I think Seattle needs a bit more of those flying fish in the Pike Place market.
They really should. I know they share management with the Seattle Seawolves team, and I saw one of their social media posts that had the Seattle Seawolves down at the Pike Place Market throwing fish around, along with our boy here, Reed Watkins, who plays for the Seawolves, scrum half, throwing fish around at the Pike Place Market.
Did you know that fish is a amazing source of omega-3s and fatty acids?
I was aware of that, yes.
Yep. What you're from the East Coast? You guys eat fish for
breakfast,
lunch, and dinner?
Yes. That Lou Alanews is taking the ball in hard. Burnaby Lake's been lucky to corral him low. That's how you got to do it. If you're watching at home, kids, tackle low. Connor Byron brings him down. The try scorer is trying to get back on the right side. Looks like he's going to. Whoa.
Ooh, even David Dinbad did just try to did again.
Slammed hard on the ground. Evan Mackey's brought down the scrum half. Jack Cannon. And they're going to give a penalty. Burnaby Lake not rolling away. Going to call on Evan Mackey. Here we see the boo to Johnny Reed. Goes flying over the camera. So we'll see Seattle's line out here. Some good height in their team. A couple of big second rows there, and Jamie Demers and Chase Bates.
Not much hair, though, except for the front prop.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Getting a good view of touch judge Christine Levitt right now. Boyfriend was the Burnaby Lake second division man of the match today. Took home the heavyweight belt. Oh, nice line out there.
Mike, do you coach that second division team?
I do. I do coach that team.
Do you think that their success is based purely upon your coaching?
Not at all. It's in spite of.
I would disagree with that entirely.
We're joined by another second division stalwart here in the broadcast booth with Eric Nickel being the third man in here. Communications with the Underdog Productions, who are running all the videos and graphics on the screen. Johnny Reed puts it high, great kick, right down along the touch line, but to Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to put it over to Ethan Turner, probably a better angle for the touch finder. Not a great kick from the youngster Ethan, but it does the job. It finds touch, gets them out of their own 22.
Another little known fact, do you know that George in Spanish is actually Jorge?
I do know that it is, in fact, Jorge.
George doesn't drink a lot. The one time he had a couple glasses of red wine, he punched me in the face and told me it's Jorge.
Well, I see where he's coming from. Let's see Seattle's second line out here. Going to the middle. Seattle had a lot of ball here in the early going. Again, there's at number 3, Lou Alanews. Again, apologies if I'm saying his name wrong.
You can't do any wrong, Mike.
There you go. A nice tackle there from Scotty Barr on the wing. Callum Cruikshank comes up and makes a hit on Aiden Carlisle. Another good hit, that time from Callum Cruikshank again. The Scotsman making 2 one-up tackles. Now Johnny Reed sees some spacing behind Jack Gelbart. Getting close to the touchline. Doesn't quite go out. Bobbled a little bit there from Gelbart. Geez, a little suicide pass in there to Ethan Turner. Seattle strips the ball. A little messy back there.
No left footers, though, like Lionel.
Oh, Brian Fitzpatrick is a left foot. I think they'll try to find him in the pocket. Yeah, there it is. Great boot from Brian Fitzpatrick.
He's a Gaelic football player. He is. He likes kicking the Gaelic footballs.
Yes, he does. Great kick. Ball's right in front of the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club bench. Let's see if they look for Carlisle again.
You know, see prowling around the sidelines today is Tassie Vicolani.
Yes, Tassie Vicolani.
Which is a lovely sight after Tassie had his some difficult health problems. He was at the hospital for a few days. Now he's back, prowling sidelines, showing us what a true Tongan rugby lord should look like.
True enough. Referee Dave Smirchevsky stops play at the breakdown. Asked to speak to Captain Bryce Warden. Never a good sign this early in the game.
Where's Bryce from again? Sorry.
Bryce Warden from Sussex, New Brunswick.
Oh, the East Coast. Okay. Where are you from?
St. John, New Brunswick.
Oh. If there was the town of Sussex and the city of St. John's got together their 100 best fighters, who would win?
Sussex versus St. John?
Yes.
100 best. Well, I guess I'm going to go St. John because I don't know if you get Sussex probably not have more than a couple hundred people, and you know there's some tough women out there. But pound for pound, you know, it's.
The last time we were together, it was a battle versus lake versus ocean.
That was a penalty there for Seattle. Get their feet off the ball, their feet off the ground, I guess, leaving their feet. Called. So Burnaby Lake going with a 5-man lineup. You see the 2 main jumpers, Callum Cruikshank and Cooper Johnston. Give up a bit in height to the Seattle second rows.
More hair, though.
Definitely better hair there on the Burnaby Lake jumpers for sure. Well, number 5 there from Seattle, Jamie Demers. Good head of hair on him.
I like Argentinians. I just want to say that out loud. Ezekiel, he's from Argentina, isn't he? Is he not?
Ezekiel is, yeah, originally from Argentina.
I didn't like them so much because of the whole Falklands thing, but it's really, really grown on me.
Oh, an overthrow, unfortunately. Burnaby Lake got the best of them in the lineup, but a little miscommunication on the throw gives the ball back to Seattle. There you see big Chase Bates being brought down. Pretty good tackling in this game.
The tackling is good. The defensive coach must be doing some pretty good work on Tuesdays only.
Yes, Randy Guzman is doing great work on the defensive side in the coaching ranks at Burnaby Lake.
Chop tackles only.
Ooh, ball squirts out there. Johnny Reed thought he saw some space to the elusive Argentinian, Ezekiel Rossetti.
They call them Pumas.
They do. I forgot that Ezekiel was from Argentina, and he was right in front of us there when you had said how much you like Argentinians. I assume you owed money to the Argentinian mob or something.
I want to make sure that we're completely squared away on this. I said I formerly did not like Argentinians, and now I do. So saying that I like Argentinians is a generalization. I used to not like Argentinians, but now I do.
I'm glad you clarified that for the reader or the listeners at home.
Jorge.
We'll see the scrum. Great battle on the inside of the scrum there. We have Bryce Warden, the Burnaby Lake captain, versus Kellen Gordon, playing the loose head for Seattle. Great scrum there from Seattle.
This little lull in play, I would like to ask you a serious question, Mike, because you're part of the executive. I noticed that a lot of the guys don't have tape where they would normally have. Did Burnaby Lake spend all of their budget on the spy balloon that's currently going over top of Wyoming?
We did, yes.
Yeah, so
that did break the budget, yes.
Were we trying to spy upon Seattle for their game plan, and then we figured out as the wind started blowing it east that it was maybe not a righteous endeavor?
Yes, actually, I read that the American government shot that spy plane down that we sent over.
Mother.
Yeah, the Burnaby Lakes, New Jersey look great. On Scotty Bar, they're a little bigger. I don't know who we had in mind when we ordered that.
Scotty Bar spent too much time in the bar.
I believe at the time when they were ordered, David Dinbandu and Kimi Vunitrago both moved into the back row. Good tackle there.
So funny story. I also coach a rugby league team, and I was in charge of ordering the jerseys. And my two centers were Kimi Vunitrago and David. And so I ordered the jerseys specifically for their size, and neither of them showed up. And I had 110-pound players wearing dresses, basically. So yes,
well, that's how it looks like out there on Scotty. That the jersey is flowing.
It looks like Scotty Bar spends too much time at the bar and not enough time under the bar.
Oh, there you go. Let's see another scrum here.
This is the thing that I used to never push on when we used to do this, right?
I remember you were behind me. I do recall you not pushing.
You were
Great scrum there from Burnaby Lake. That should be a penalty. Yes, there it is. David Smorchkowski puts the arm up. Great push from all 8 players there.
Yeah, so you need 7 players to push. You need 1 player just to celebrate afterwards.
Again, that's what you used to tell me, but I would have strongly wished that you would have done some pushing.
Maybe you'd still be playing at this point if your back was in pieces. Oh, but to be fair, though, I do have really strong legs. If I did actually push, I might have compressed your spine. So I think a thank you and an apology all in one would be pertinent at this time.
You will get nothing from me.
You can't do anything wrong.
See the lefty, Brian Fitzpatrick, looking for a touch here. Pretty good kick. That'll get them pretty close there. They'll be about 10 yards away, 10 meters out. Sorry. In rugby, it's meters, not yards, isn't it?
76 feet, if I do my calculations correct.
So we'll see if Burnaby Lake can get the line out working this time.
You see the playground in the background. Do you know that playground was a donation or was inaugurated by Randy Johal?
I do. Randy Johal and Burnaby Lake's, I believe, Deputy Mayor Sav Dollywall.
Correct. Randy,
here's
unfortunately,
Evan
doesn't remember who he is anymore, but that's okay.
Evan Mackey gets pretty close, tears off the back of that mall. Now we go to the big guy, David Dinbandu. Seattle holding him up. David's going to work to get down there. David is down on the ground. We'll see if...
That's a tackle. It should be advantage to Burnaby at this point.
Smorchkowski's looking for the ball. I think he's going to say that never went down. Probably give a scrum to Seattle.
Man on the ground should be a Burnaby scrum. No. David didn't.
Yeah, there we go. The scrum given to Seattle. So it's a collapsed maul there.
So, Mike, you were saying that there's some experienced Seattle Seawolves in the pack for Seattle.
There is number 1, Kellen Gordon. I believe he was one of the inaugural Seattle Seawolves, longtime Seattle RFC guy. In addition to being the premier loosehead prop for Seattle, he's also the director of men's rugby down there, stepping into some big shoes from Kevin Flynn, who does a dual role with Seattle RFC and Seattle Seawolves.
You know so many names.
I'm a big name guy.
Is that why you call me so many names?
It is. It is. Let's see. Big push from Burnaby Lake. Bryce Warden getting the better on that left side, and Lalit Bardawaj doing a pretty good job on the right.
So after seeing that scrum, you really think that the 12 people from Sussex couldn't beat up the 100 people from St. John's?
Well, you don't remember me scrummaging. Lalit Bardawaj, another noted New Brunswicker right now. a landowner in St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
He's from Calgary.
He is, and his family has purchased a large section of farmland outside of St. Stephen, New Brunswick.
He's
an
the Bill
affordable place.
Gates of New Brunswick.
He is. He is. A little bit of rain starting here at Burnaby Lake.
They call it a drizzle.
A drizzle, yes, a light sprinkling.
Not a fizzle, by the way.
No.
Although we talked about Fizzle getting another property, it's going to be called the Fizzle Sizzle. He's going to become a male stripper.
Oh, well, I think he's missed the best years for that. It's nice out the backdoor pass. Jack Gelbart taking a good hit. Turner to Brian Fitzpatrick. Yeah. Fitzpatrick, talented kick.
Carry that ball over. That's going to be a goal line dropout. No, it's a scrum to Burnaby. Fantastic.
5
We can
meter scrum.
get our dominance in there. We have a move that we ran from this position at training. It's called X-Men. I won't tell you much more about it because I don't want to give away too many secrets, like the Burnaby Lake spy balloon that's over Wyoming. But we'll see if they throw it here.
Yeah, we really should have let that balloon go closer to Seattle. And only put it through the prairies. Plains, as they call it down there.
You know, it's just you let Simon Smolden in charge of one thing, and he just messes it all up. Jorge, actually, to my right of me, he just mentioned to me that we need to work on Chilean-Argentinian relations. Apparently, there's some bad blood there. Un poquito is what Jorge just told me.
There we go. Solid scrum there from Burnaby Lake. Callum Crookshank's going to pick it up. He's driving forward. Burnaby Lake says yes. We'll see what referee Smorchevsky says. I get a feeling he's going to say it's held up. I'm not confident from the angle we had that Crookshank was able to touch it down, but we'll see with the referee's official call. He's discussing with Christine Levitt.
Callum Crookshank's from Sterling, which is where Connor McCann is from as well, apparently.
I thought Connor was from Toronto.
By the way, the Sterling, yes. The same way that Legit is from Calgary, but he's now part of the East Coast. And on days like today, I identify myself as Scottish, although I was born in North Vancouver, which is the wealthier part of Vancouver if anyone's from out of town, but I'm not wealthy.
Yeah, referee Dave Smorchevsky says he was held up, wasn't able to touch the ball down, so it's going to be a goal line dropout for Seattle. I know all the new law variations or law changes that they made regarding the goal line dropout, but I still find them a little confusing. I can't quite figure it out yet.
They're all adaptations from rugby league, to be honest with you. That's one of the rugby league's biggest things. It's sort of to incentivize attacking rugby instead of driving over. If you can try and get yourself a try, it incentivizes yourself to be more attacking minded.
Captain Johnny Reid having a few words with Dave Smorchevsky and clarification on something, but we're ready to restart now.
I think we should give a special mention to the city of Burnaby for getting such nice, well-designed benches to the field down here.
Sorry, what's that about the benches?
The benches, they're well-designed.
Oh,
they're
the bleachers.
Not many people seating on them. The bleachers, yes.
Pretty cold and miserable. The game's being played up in the warmth and comfort of the clubhouse on all the televisions. I see from where I am the clubhouse pretty packed right now. A warmer, smarter place to sit if we had the opportunity. About 23 minutes gone, and Burnaby Lake leads 7-0. Oh, David Dinbandu on the turnover. Big Ethan Soden. He's looking to drop it there to Connor Byron. He's got Brian Fitzpatrick outside him. Oh, just a fraction of a second earlier, and Fitzpatrick would have been in.
Pokemon Connor Byron would have made that pass stick, but Playmobil Connor Byron unfortunately does not.
I'm sure he'll take that to heart.
One of his favorite bands, actually, Heart.
All right, Seattle line out here. We'll see what Ethan Smith has.
Wonderful posture on this man.
Yes, shoulders back.
You're just thanking us. Head to arm out is a traditional way of saying thank you.
The big man Chase Bates brings the ball down into Eric Soto. There's number 8. He's going to be their ball carrier today, I'm sure. Though Lou Alanuz has done a lot of their carrying. There's Johnny Reid. Nope. Brian Fitzpatrick throws it in quick to Ethan Turner on the bounce pass. One more over to Jack Gelbart. He's got Scott Barr and Connor Byron outside him. Gelbart waits too long and throws the ball on the ground. Not a great start. Scotty Barr gets taken down. Rossetti going to find Bryce Warden. Bryce Warden telling him to hold off, not to rush things. Now, nice pass into Evan Mackey. Ran a great line through the centers. Bobbled a little bit there from Ezekiel, but Smirchevsky says it went backwards. Din Bandu out to Brian Fitzpatrick. He's got Callum Cruikshank on the inside, but he's going to kick it right into touch. That's too bad.
I think Burnaby's being a little impatient. If they just start building the phases, Seattle seems a little bit fatigued from coming across the border. They're not super organized in defense. When Burnaby sort of holds the ball a bit longer, builds the phases, start getting their shape correctly, we can start attacking. Just pushing the ball to the edge is not the option at this point.
Dave Smirchevsky gets the word in from the touch judge that Brian Fitzpatrick was tackled after he kicked the ball. Therefore, we're going to have a penalty. I think there's a good chance you're going to see Brian Fitzpatrick go for post right here.
This is one of those games where, as Seattle's traveled, they don't have all of their reserves. They don't have a lot of people. Burnaby just needs to be consistent with their game plan. Stick together, play the phases, hold onto the ball, tire Seattle out on defense, and then use our bench, which is most likely superior to Seattle's bench just because we're at home, and just sort of grind out a win here. We don't have to score every possession, but apparently that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, a lot of the guys at Burnaby Lake played together for a pretty long time. There's obviously some new guys. Callum Cruikshank new, just in the last month or so, and guys like Ethan Soden, who joined us at the beginning of the year, Connor Byron as well from UBC. But a lot of the guys, Don Baptista and Bryce Warden, Cooper Johnson, David Dinbandu, and Lily Barter, they played together for a long time. They know where they are on the field. So they just keep, like you said, keep the ball in hand, put it together, trying to understand they're not going to score on every play, which is what they're trying to do right now. If they can do that, they should be able to keep racking up the points.
See the little dance move I was talking about?
I saw that.
Do the little dance.
Wide left.
Plenty of leg, but just not in the right direction. Perhaps that late tackle sort of affected his kicking leg a little bit. Well, the one thing about Brian Fitzpatrick is he's a confidence player.
He is that. He backs himself.
He believes a lot in himself right now, so he's feeling a little crappy about that, but I guarantee you he's going to make some magic after to make up for it.
Yeah, you know what? This morning when I looked at the weather forecast, it was supposed to rain all day, and the first two games were played here this morning were played under sunshine, or at the very least light cloud cover, and now the Premier game's on. The rain started to come down, unfortunately. So earlier today, the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club 2nd Division men claimed a 50-0 win over a Capilano team that came over. I think a little depleted on numbers as their other two teams were elsewhere in the city, but good mix of veteran players and brand new players put up a game fight right till the very end, and unfortunately for Capilano, they came out on the losing side of it, but the Burnaby Lake 2nd Division certainly earned that win. And then just in the game prior to this, the Burnaby Lake Premier women made their return to the Premier League and took out Seattle 33-5. So really talented team, the Burnaby Lake women's team.
The Burnaby Lake women's team is a really exciting team. I think, there's been the traditional teams, in the past of, VLOX when they were still around. I guess it's West Shore now, and Caps has always been a really strong women's team. I think this team, the Burnaby team, the women's team is always been a really strong Premier women's team, and I think they're getting back to their foundations of who they were. For a long time, they were sort of the pillar of the club. They were the one that were winning championships all the time. Walt Brandle's an amazing job of sort of cultivating and creating an environment where the women can feel confident and people want to come here to play because they know it's a right environment of a winning spirit. And I think we're getting back to those roots, which we've sort of lost for the last couple of years. Yeah,
I think so as well. Burnaby Lake had dropped down to the 1st Division level for a couple of years, the women's team that is, and are making the return this year, and I think it was the right move. They had some young players that maybe weren't quite ready to be in the Premier League yet and a little light on numbers, and to be honest, a couple of bad apples they need to get rid of. I mean, that's sometimes the case, whether bad apples might not be the right term, but didn't gel personality-wise, and with them gone, the girls have really done a great job of getting some of the players that used to play for them come back, and some new players from UBC, Rachel Chibauter a few years ago, and Maddie Gold and Jade Farhat have joined from UBC Thunderbird graduates there this year, along with the returning Tess Woldring, former Burnaby Lake mini and junior. and really bolstered the lineup as well as a few other additions from around the Lower Mainland. So really powerful group. I watched a lot of their game today. I was really, really impressed by the way they were moving the ball, and their captain, Gabby Hindley, is just an amazing rugby player. So follow her lead.
Trivia question for you, Mike. What was the first Burnaby team other than the women to win a provincial championship?
That would be the Burnaby Lake 2011 First Division team, I believe, Alec.
Oh, who was the captain of that team?
That was me.
Oh, was I on that team?
You were. Yes,
yeah.
you were.
Yeah, I think I was the forward of the year. Yeah, I think so.
Were
yeah, I
you
remember
forward of the year?
Yeah, I think so.
That definitely wasn't
Followed
me.
by back of the year the next year. Ha! If you can't live on your former glory, you can't live at all.
This is true. The older I get, the more glorious my past was. The stories I tell. As Adam McCluskey would tell me, never let truth get in the way of a good story.
As my eyesight diminishes, you become more handsome.
There we go. Back to the game. Seattle, the long kick in there to Jack Gelbart. Going to pass into Ethan Turner. Brian Fitzpatrick calling for it on the left side. It'll be a one-on-one with Brian. He's got Scotty Barr outside him now. Nice tackle there from the Seattle number 22. I believe is a winger. Possibly Matt Pacheco.
I think the 22 is actually the 9 now. I think he's came in as a replacement for the scrum half.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll say it's Nuri Drew, which is an interesting first name. I'd like to know more about that. Neil McLean over the top to Scotty Barr. Tip pass to Brian Fitzpatrick from Don Baptista, just like they wrote it up. Seattle over the ball there pretty good. Nice clear out from the scrum half, Zeke Rossetti.
They need to find their shape right now. Burnaby is just sort of throwing the ball around. Slow the ball down. Find your shape. Start playing. Bryce Warden's done exactly that.
The captain, become a really, really intelligent rugby player, Bryce. Always a great scrummager. Learn the trade from such notable stalwarts as Anthony Luca, Ryan Ackerman, and Scott Mackay. And great bounce there.
Bryce's biggest asset and his biggest gift is just he's genuine and he's really passionate about things, and people follow him because of that.
It's true. He's a passionate club guy. He spent a few years at UBC and has come back now to assume the captaincy, but also is in charge, along with his girlfriend Shelby Sloan, of the Burnaby Lake mini program. And you know what? Oof, that's a Wilson Vasukala Kiba. Coming like a freight train at him there. But I was going to say, Bryce Warden spent yesterday afternoon out here lining the fields. So a consummate club guy. Lots of space in behind. Does that bounce in? No, straight out, straight into touch. About 8.5 minutes left in the half here. We'll see a Seattle lineout right at the 50-meter line.
This does not feel like a 7-0 game. This is a weird game, just some mistakes. It feels like Seattle is just literally just kicking away possession to hold on to defense and hoping that Burnaby makes more mistakes. There's not a lot of flow in this game, unfortunately. It could be the weather, it could be the rustiness after the break. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, there's an overthrow. Lineouts have been a little chippy there today. Lalit Bardwaj comes down with it. The Baron of St. Stephen, New Brunswick. Callum Crookshank now taking the ball in. Good leg drive from Callum Crookshank. Ezekiel Rossetti still with the ball. Flopping all over the place. I'm not sure what's going on there. Ethan Soden now, the big boy, takes it in. Wrapped up pretty well by Lou Alanews, but Bryce Warden knocks it down. Now Don Baptista.
Now, Don Batista is a player you can get behind. That man just goes forward. He's heart and soul. He's
hard runner, that's for darn sure. Ooh, knocked forward there from Scotty Barr after the big hit from Wilson Vasukalakiba. Seattle now on the attack. There's that aforementioned Wilson going through tackles. Eventually brought down. Johnny Reed with the ball into Lou Alanews. Oh, wow, some moves from the big guy. Breaking over 2 tackles. Ethan Turner bowled over backwards. Makes the tackle, though. Seattle certainly threatening now. See Nuri Drew. Pops the ball into Eric Soto. Little soccer skills there to pop the ball up. Ball's way out if Burnaby Lake's on top of that. I see Kellen Gordon wrapped up by Cooper Johnston. Number Aiden Carlisle taken in. Brought down by David Dinbandu. Ball's out.
Seattle's struggling for shape. Like they made a line break. You'd think that the next attacking phase would be organized. It feels like they're not all on the same page, unfortunately.
Ooh, there's the interception of Scotty Barr. He has Jack Gelbart with him on the right. almost dropped it. No, he did drop it. There we go. Well, Burnaby Lake's fortunate to get out of there. Seattle was attacking. If they had just a little bit more structure, they could have set up something and gotten through there. 2 Burnaby Lake guys down. Ethan Soden, spitting, and Dom Baptista also down. Dom Baptista with an arm, and Ethan down to 1 knee. Not sure what the issue is right now, but
Ethan works at the Ox Pub, so I'm assuming that might be a case of the Ox.
it could be. Speaking of the Ox, we'd like to thank the Ox Pub, who's our local public house in the heart of Vancouver's hospitality community, located at 800 Granville Street. It's a great place to watch some international rugby. They had, along with 99 Social there this morning, they had all the Six Nation games on. They also show soccer, football, and they have fun and competitive trivia nights every Wednesday. The Ox has a commitment to local breweries with 15 taps dedicated to local craft brews. The BLRC would like to thank them for their support and encourage everyone listening to go down there for a pint or maybe 6. Maybe you'll have Ethan Soden as your bartender. Looks like both Burnaby Lake players are able to stay on the field. Don Baptiste is still working out his arm, and
Seattle looks like they are literally a team of a lot of workhorses and 3 or 4 organizers.
well, I'll tell you, there's some big boys on that field there from
For
Seattle.
sure. I think of Burnaby they just need to calm. It feels like there's a lot of frantic energy out there. Maybe the first home game of the second half here, people just trying to show off for their home support. If they can just calm things down a little bit, start playing the systems, understanding their place on the field, I think we, man to man, I think we get a better team. I think it's just a matter of just understanding where we are on the field and sort of playing systems and organizing and simplifying.
Well, I think the guy in number 22 is either Nori Drew or number 13, Matt Brennan. I don't know if he was the guy that started the game or not, but Johnny Reed puts the ball over to Ian Wright. First time we've said his name. Brought down by Callum Cruikshank and Connor Byron. You see Aiden Carlisle again. Nice, took the ball into contact. Little extra roll there. Ref says no problem. Johnny Reed now finding big Lou Alanews. And offside penalty there for Evan Mackey is going to give Seattle the opportunity in front of the post. There's 5 minutes officially left to this half, so we'll see if Johnny Reed chooses to get on the board and cut the lead a little bit 7-3, or if they're going to go for the line-out. I believe they're going to go for the posts.
I think that might have been a decision more, not based upon the score being 7-0 and getting themselves within 4. Just looking at the Seattle energy out there, I feel like they just need to slow the game down a little bit. I feel like they're out on their feet a little bit. You know, that journey, 3 hours on a bus in the morning to come through a drizzly Burnaby sky, it takes a lot out of you. I remember going to the island a lot, and the island would always be one of our favorite things coming home from the island. But by the time I got to the game and I'd had those 12 waffles and the 14 plates of bacon because of the buffet on the breakfast buffet,
I'm familiar.
I didn't feel all that great. But, I mean, I was a natural athlete, so I just sort of rose above, And, not everyone has that sort of gift that I do.
Kick is up. Looks good, and straight through. Splits the uprights.
That
It's going to get Seattle on the board. Johnny Reed with the three-pointer.
Thank God you remember his name, because I have no clue, but you're so good at names.
I am.
I wish you had one of those double-barreled last names like those rich English Ponces. Mike knows every name, Devlin or something like that. I don't know. Well, let's work on it. Let's work on it tonight. Let's workshop this.
Settle down. All right, we see Ethan Turner coming up for the restart. Seattle now on the board. 3.5 minutes left in the half. Ethan Turner hopes putting the ball high, letting the big guys like Ethan Soden and Cooper Johnson and Callum Cruikshank get the opportunity to get underneath it. High and deep. To the winger, Hyro. Takes it near the touchline. Tackle made by Bryce Warden. Little high.
That was a very brave
gets
run.
that.
Very brave run.
The seatbelt tackle, I guess they call it. No malice in it. Big guy like Bryce Warden tackling a small guy. The previous ball carrier, Hyro, tying a shoelace. Ball put into touch just past the half. Seattle had pretty good lineouts thus far this game. Last lineout went a little awry with the overthrow, but other than that, pretty safe thus far. They got a couple of big second rows. Then we start off with a fake to the front. Now into the middle. Nice lineout there taken by Chase Bates. Johnny Reed now at the back door. Ooh, long throw. It's going to be a bounce to the far winger. 14, Matt Pacheco. Ball squirts out. It's into the hands of David Dinbandu. He's going to fend off Wilson. Eventually brought down. Burnaby Lake setting up into a couple of pods here. They go to Callum Crookshank. Still fighting and driving those legs forward.
He's running really high today. He got held up over the try line. That's another one that you have to fight to get back down.
Now Lalit Bardwaj.
Lower that running height.
Bardwaj taken down by Eric Soto. Into Neil McLean. He's looking for Scotty Barr on the inside. Both Neil McLean and Scotty Barr originally from Omagh, Northern Ireland. Ooh, Evan Mackey's found a seam. He's got Neil McLean with him. Neil McLean sees Brian Fitzpatrick wide. One-on-one Fitzpatrick versus Pacheco. Fitzpatrick's going to win that one. He's going in.
That's
under the post.
We talk about. He's got so much belief in himself, which sometimes can be frustrating. Let's be honest. But the honest truth is that fires him up to do these amazing things, like just beating that guy. He had the man directly in his eyesight, and he just decided that he had enough gas to beat him.
Fair enough. Little controversy there at the end. I'm not sure if Fitzpatrick showboating or what, but Aiden Carlisle found the opportunity to tackle him and put him down pretty hard. So while Brian Fitzpatrick gets up to take the conversion, we'd like to mention club supporter Black & McDonald, which is a third-generation company founded in Toronto in 1921. Black & McDonald has over 5,000 employees operating in over 30 offices in North America. They provide full-spectrum expertise in turnkey construction, engineering, procurement construction, design build, and public-private partnership projects. So thank you for your support, Black & McDonald. Additionally, we'd like to thank Filter Cream Products Canada, the exclusive distributor of the famous Filter Cream Majestic and Defender air quality systems. Filter Cream Products Canada are a longtime sponsor of the BLRC and offer best-in-class air filtration abilities with the only air cleaner recognized as a Class 2 medical device available. You wouldn't drink dirty water or eat dirty food, Alex, so why would you breathe dirty air?
Would you dare me?
I do not. But if you go to filtercreamcanada.com today, you can make sure your family breathes cleaner, healthier air. So Fitzpatrick getting ready here for the conversion. Straight through. That'll put Burnaby Lake up 14-3.
Speaking about clean air, Mike, do you think the Americans don't want to go back down to the south because of that? I mean, their air is a bit more polluted than the majestic, beautiful air that we have up here in BC.
Is that true?
For the fact of me saying it, yes, I would say it is true.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't see no smog.
No, it looks like the rain's died off here a little bit, which is great. So much greater for the people standing on the sidelines here who are not in the blob zone.
So, Mike, I put on my Twitter account, which I have 4 followers on, posing some questions, and one of my followers asked me this question. The hot topic is, what is your favorite house of Harry Potter?
You know, I've never seen a Harry Potter movie.
But if you had to pick one, which would be your favorite house?
Which I mean, Harry Potter's house? Is that a house?
So you're saying it's not it's Slytherin then?
It might be. Is that a good one or a bad one?
I don't know. You tell me, Mike.
No, I'm going to go Harry Potter's house.
Harry Potter's house. You heard it here first. Thank you, 4th subscriber on Twitter, for asking me that question. Actually, a funny story. When I first got Twitter, I didn't realize how it worked, so I tweeted Taylor Swift, and I said, if you follow me, I'll follow you. It will make it worthwhile. And she never followed me.
That's weird. Well, a 5-meter line out here for Seattle after a couple of consecutive Burnaby Lake penalties.
5 meters is 86 feet for anyone that's asking.
Apologies to the families at home, by the way. I believe I've been mistaking Chase Bates and Jimmy Dimmers, who overthrow, but it still comes down to the hands of Kellen Gordon. Burnaby Lake setting up low there. Seattle driving forward. They got some big guys in that pack, I'll tell you. They come right again. Bryce Warden meets him at the line. Seattle inching closer. Smarchevsky trying to find out what's going on. Try given. That looks like the hooker.
And the
Ethan
crowd,
Smith.
And the crowd goes wild.
Try scored. Good defense from Burnaby Lake there for a couple of phases, but when you let them through penalties and the foot of Johnny Reed go from about the 10-meter to the 5-meter line and without having to carry the ball forward, you're going to give that up sometimes. So try by number 2, Ethan Smith. So we'll see Johnny Reed here. Try the conversion. It's about 8 yards out from the touchline, so not the easiest kick, but he's a pretty solid kicker, so we'll see how he does here. While Johnny Reed sets up there, we'd like to thank Laue. So, Alec, if you know the secret password, you can open a freezer door inside Blind Tiger Dumplings at 251 East Georgia Street, and you'll find Vancouver's hottest, most exclusive night spot, Laue. The speakeasy aims to celebrate the intrigue and glamour of a hidden lounge while providing patrons like me and you the best contemporary and modern-day cocktail experience. Food is top-notch, too. Owner and longtime BLRC member Lewis Hart is helping to transform Chinatown into the coolest weekend neighborhood in Vancouver and has recently opened up a second location. Signage out front says Happy Valley Turf Club, but inside is Bagheera, one of the hottest new places in Canada. Actually, Laue was voted by numerous places the best new bar in Canada.
As a owner of a security company, which I won't name here because I've not paid any money for sponsorship, it'd be nice to go and check those places out. Lewis is a fantastic person. I remember him regaling some stories of how great he was at hooker as he first came over for England. Grown so much and done so much for the community. Really happy to see him adding so much to a neighborhood that's been a bit downtrodden since COVID hit.
It can be a real dump, that's for sure. But conversion was made there by Johnny Reed, so it'll be 14-10. Before we break for the halftime here, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, unfortunately, Burnaby Lake has lost three longtime members here, a few legends, over the past, 45 days. In no order of importance, because they'll leave a large hole in the community here. But Greg Gilding, maybe the heart and soul of the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club since its inception. Doc Gilding, one of the Burnaby Lake's Doc Hedges, Dr. Don Hedges, Canadian Lacrosse Hall of Famer. Actually, I found this out that he had passed on TSN. They'd mentioned it on Sports Center. So sort of a big deal. He was Burnaby Lake's team doctor and one of our inaugural Burnaby Lake lifetime members. So a lifetime member. He has a plaque up on the wall there. And Alec, you would let me know about a third one that actually I was unaware of.
Yeah, so Gary Miller, he was a longtime member, one of the founding members of Burnaby Lake Rugby Club when the Trojans and the Buffaloes amalgamated. Gary was one of the people that inspired me to play rugby. He was friends with my father, and I was kind of hesitant to play rugby, and Gary pushed me towards it, and he promised that he actually coached me in high school, which he'd never done before, but he wanted me to play, and he was a big believer in kids getting involved with rugby. So Gary Miller is another one that we've lost, unfortunately.
That is. Well, to commemorate Greg Gilding, Burnaby Lake is bringing back our annual golf tournament, which has been renamed the Greg Gilding Memorial Classic. So it's just been announced today. It's happening June 16th, 2023 at the Guilford Golf and Country Club. It's a Texas Scramble format. There'll, of course, be putting contests, long drive contests, close to the pin contest, putting contests, prime rib dinner. There's a silent auction. Tickets for early birds, if you get them before March 15th, are $150 per person, which includes your round power cart as well as the prime rib dinner, or $550 for a foursome. To get your spot in there, you can email Roger Servo at rmc6699 legend at gmail.com. So rmc6699 at gmail.com to reserve your spot or your foursome in the Greg Gilding Memorial Classic. I know they're also looking for a few extra hole sponsors. So if you want to sponsor a hole, as my mom would say, you give them, you just give Roger a call again, rmc6699 at gmail.com. So we're going to take a break here, Alec. We'll be back at the start of the second half. Score currently sits 14-10, and we'll be back in a moment.
It is important to get the viruses out. The CDC recommends using an air purifier to clean the air in your home and at work. This portable air purifier filters air 3 times better than standard HEPA filtration, down to 99.99%. The FDA recognizes it as a Class 2 medical device. We will deliver one to you today. Call now and ask us about our no-interest, easy monthly budget plans. We are a local company in British Columbia. Get the viruses out. Call us today and protect your family and staff. Purchase direct online at filterqueencanada.com. Today only, use promo code VIRUSOUT for 10% off and free shipping to anywhere in Canada.
Getting ready to start the second half here. The second half brought to you by the Rugby Shop. The Rugby Shop is Canada's one-stop shop for all things rugby. They're an exclusive distributor of Canterbury rugby gear here in Canada, and the rugbyshop.com is where you go find all your Burnaby Lake Rugby Club supporters wear. From hoodies to rain jackets, both would have come in a little handy there today. Or if you're thinking of summer, you're looking for a Burnaby Lake bucket hat or tank top or t-shirt or a pair of shorts, go to the rugbyshop.com and get your official Burnaby Lake rugby gear. Your spot for everything blue and white. We see Ethan Turner getting ready for the kickoff here. Burnaby Lake going downhill as the Burnaby Parks Board did an unbelievable job a few years ago of leveling the fields and raising them up. However, it's above sea level, Burnaby Lake next to it, and one corner starting to slope back down towards the water again. So we'll see what happens with that going forward. But the ball's taken nicely there from Eric Soto, tackled by Callum Cruikshank. Looks like Elite Bardawaj over the ball, doing a good job making a nuisance of himself. Bryce Warden makes the tackle. A lot of space for Seattle if they can put something together here. He cuts back in towards the forwards. It's our number 22, I believe, is Nori Drew, according to the roster I was given. Former Burnaby Lake captain Neil McLean, current fly half. Takes the ball into contact before dishing it off to Bryce Warden. Rossetti trying to attack that blind side through Callum Cruikshank. He's got Ethan Soden and Brian Fitzpatrick with him. Now Evan Mackey. Burnaby Lake setting up some phases here, which I like to see. You don't have to go for the try every single time. It's, death by 1,000 cuts. It's better. So out the back door there, Neil McLean to Connor Byron. He's going to put it over to Ethan Turner. Ethan's had a very physical game. He's not normally a physical player, but every tackle he's been in, both on or for, has been bone-crunching one way or the other. So nice tackle there from Aiden Carlisle and the big man Bryce Warden. A lot of space there on the wide side. Neil McLean seems to have found a seam, though. He's got Jack Gelbart on the inside, and Jack Gelbart he's got some speed. He is going in next to the posts. So try from number 14, Jack Gelbart.
I want to just point out one thing: 7 phases, scored a try. They just have to work the phases. Seattle they're out on their feet. If Burnaby just can continue to put the pressure, slowly build up the phases. Neil McLean with a fantastic show and go, something I've not taught him, something he's done all on his own, which I'm really proud of, by the way. you know, I have kids, Mike. I don't know if you know this. I have 2 kids. And when you have kids, you want to try and just teach them enough so that they learn on their own and they sort of fly out on their own. And that was Neil McLean flying on his own. So a proud father of 2 children, and Neil McLean, he won't consider me a father, but I consider him a son. And that was just son flying for the first time.
That was lovely. Brian Fitzpatrick punts the ball deep, or puts the ball deep between the posts. So that'll put Burnaby Lake up 21-0 on the Brian Fitzpatrick conversion. You know, speaking of kids,
sorry, Mike. I that was the most prop thing I've ever heard. Brian was kicking a conversion. You said he punted the ball deep. That's so prop of you.
It's kicking. They should abolish it. Should be no kicking in the sport. But that's me. For the first time in many, many years, since, as we were talking about the 2011 Burnaby Lake First Division Championship that you and I were both helped to engineer, the last time I saw this person was the day we won. I had a drink with your ex-wife at Emma Goff's 30th birthday party last month. Hadn't seen her in over a decade. That's right, 30th.
That's great, Mike. Yeah, no, she's. I don't think she's watching this, so I won't say anything disparaging. But she's a great mother to my daughter.
Yeah, it was a very nice lady.
Do I feel like there's some sort of conflict of interest here now that you're trying to figure out which is a better friend? Because I've only given you BS for years, and she probably gave you a lovely, fun experience.
She has been very nice. But no, you're a better friend, Alec. Certainly you're a better friend.
Yeah, she uses my last name still at school, but she regrets to ever inform that we were ever married, so it's perfect.
Yes, she's a teacher up at Alpha. There's a dog on the field.
The fact that you know all this, it's really, really bothering me, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, hung out with her. She's nice. Last time I saw her, John DeCare was throwing rotisserie chickens across our living room. So
that is true. And then we had the a tent from an unknown team that was in the back of my fence, which I returned.
I don't remember that at all. Do not remember that at all. All right, scrum for Burnaby Lake here. Good scrum. They're pushing through, trying to milk a penalty out of this. Ball's out. McLean into Connor Byron, running hard. Tackled by Nori Drew. Back to McLean. He's got Rossetti with him, up over the top. Ooh, hard hit there on the scrum half from the number 7, Tomasi Puletu. Something like that. David Dimbandu up, puts a hit on Chase Bates, but the ball's already gone.
With the massive Polynesians that I knew that were going to be coming through today, I watched Moana last night to sort of shape up on my Polynesian pronunciation.
Ah, fantastic. Were you able to work through Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Yes. He's natty, by the way. All natural. Like the Liver King.
Yeah, for sure. Penalty there. Johnny Reed looks to find touch. Bryce Warden out to get clarification on that from Smorchevsky.
Trevor Flynn prowling the sidelines without all that crappy hair that he had before. Gio Lamb giving us a knuckle bump. It feels like Skeletor touching your fists.
Bony fingers for sure from Gio.
Great at the piano bar.
Definitely. Strong point for Seattle has been their lineout. I don't know the exact stats, but I believe they only missed on one of them. So solid platform for them here. They'll be looking for the 2 big guys, Demers or Chase.
90% of the chances you take are 10%
now that I say
chance
that.
of getting it.
Ball tipped by Cooper Johnson back to Ezekiel Rossetti. Picked up by Cooper Johnston. Driven in a little bit. They'll look for one more forward crash here from Warden. Warden's got Baptiste on his hip.
Where is Evan McKay from? He came out of nowhere to Burnaby.
Evan Mackey is, I believe, from Oshawa. Dan Cooper, who played for the club last season and is currently with the Pacific Pride, is a friend of Evan's. And Evan was looking to come to British Columbia. His lovely, lovely girlfriend has found a job here and decided to bring her unemployed rugby vagabond boyfriend with her. Ooh, that was a tough hit there on Ethan Turner's knee. As I said, every contact Ethan's been in has been just a real hurtful one. David Dinbandu makes the tackle on Hiro, or possibly Hero. But I believe you're right. I think it is Hiro. Into the big man, Lou Alanews. Cooper Johnston jumping over tackles. He's got the break. He's going to go in. The big second row.
way better than his dad.
You know, I'm a big fan of his dad, Cooper, but no, Cooper, hands down. I mean, your question was like, you know, what would you rather have? Would you rather have $1 million or have me, you know, just punch right in the sack? Like that's the, you know, who's better, Trevor or Cooper? Who would you rather hang out with?
Well, I mean,
it's Cooper, 100%.
Trevor Johnson is a College Rifles alumni. I'm also a College Rifles alumni, as well as Gareth Marsden, who I can see right behind me. Oh my goodness, the most handsome man to have ever played at Burnaby, hands down. I know Trevor Flynn fights for it, but Gareth Marsden, by far, the most handsome man ever to play at Burnaby.
He was the Riddler. He's got a son, Tatum, here today, the future Burnaby Lake captain, I'm sure. Yeah, top-notch guy. Yeah, just Trevor Johnson, by the way, Cooper's father, doing a tremendous job with the Twilighters, the over 40s team based out of here at Burnaby Lake. If you're old, kind of grouchy with bad knees and want to play a little rugby on Wednesday night, Twilighters are practicing from 6:30 till 8 o'clock and then drinking until about midnight playing some poker here at the clubhouse. So if you're listening to this and you think you'd like to get back into it, you live here in the Lower Mainland and you just watch Brian Fitzpatrick make that conversion, come on down and play with the Twilighters.
Brian just punted it through the end zone, yes. I've thought about playing the Twilighters. I've been invited quite a few times. But I don't know if you know about me, Mike, is I'm quite arrogant and egotistical, and I think I'm just better than it, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see that. I for sure could see that. So that put Burnaby Lake up 28-10.
I'm also scared because Jeff Lords plays for the Twilighters, and he has an amazing body. And just me standing beside him in the shower after a game, just that's really the reason why I don't want to come back. That's 2 kickoffs in a row out of bounds.
Uncharacteristic for Johnny Reid, who I would say has one of the better boots in the Premier League.
That's Trevor Flynn just yelling on the sideline with no hair, looking way more handsome. But once, as I said before, Gareth Marsden is here, so you are not as handsome.
Yeah, Trevor Flynn captained the second division team today, and I know Burnaby Lake won the boat race against the younger Capilano side, and Trevor Flynn, who is one of the few braving the weather out here on the sidelines, appears to be, as they say in France, getting on it.
Outside of him not being as handsome, I do want to comment to Trevor Flynn because I remember when he first showed up at Burnaby, he could barely tie his shoelaces, and now he's the captain of the second division team, a club stalwart. He came here just I think it was a social thing that he came out here. Never played rugby before, showed up, couldn't catch a rugby ball. I don't think he can still catch a rugby ball, but he's definitely understood and embraced the rugby culture 1,000%.
Yeah, nice scrum penalty there for Burnaby Lake. Of course, have always prided ourselves on our scrummaging for the past 15 years or so. The legend lives on with Lalit Bardawaj. There's a talented scrummager, and Bryce Warden, a big beast of a guy, pushes forward. So, yeah, penalty here right at half. Brian Fitzpatrick can find touch.
Do you think that Bryce is spurred on in those scrums, knowing that Legit is a land baron, as you said, from his homeland, and that's why he's just trying to show him that he's, you might own land, but this is my plot of land.
Yeah, I think for sure. Fitzpatrick, a long kick, doesn't quite find touch, though. Just a little too much avarice on that. Returned, Connor Byron lost sight of it in the air. Nice bounce right into Ezekiel Rossetti's hands. Burnaby Lake lined out wide. Pass a little farther behind Scotty Barr. Finds a little space. Scotty Barr and Jack Gelbart. Ooh. Number 15, Ian Wright, jumped on that. Finally brought down by Jack Gelbart. Unfortunately for Seattle, Ian Wright knocked it on when he hit the ground. Jack Gelbart tossed him down pretty hard.
This game is right on the precipice of getting out of hand. I think Burnaby is just showing their dominance. As you can see, Seattle's bringing in a couple subs. They look like they could be impactful.
One of the guys looks like he'll help in the scrum. That I believe is Alex Cannon coming on. And I'm going to say James Kawinui, I believe.
Mike, do you have any stories about cannons?
About cannons?
Yeah, the man, his name is Cannon. He's coming on the field. Do you have any stories about cannons?
No, I don't.
Well, what a coincidence. I have a story about a cannon.
Fantastic. I'd love to hear that, Alec.
There's a cannon at Edinburgh Castle called Mons Meg. It was stolen from the French in the 1500s. It's a very large cannon, and you're not allowed to physically touch the cannon. My father used to actually shove me in the cannon and take pictures with me. And now I'm taking my daughter to Scotland in July, and I'm going to shove her in that said cannon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to announce that Mike Devlin has just left to go take a pee, which is mean that I'm all on my own. So I apologize for whatever might happen in the next near future. Brian Fitzpatrick kicking for touch to the sideline. And that's what a punt is. Mike Devlin got it wrong when he was kicking through the posts. I just want to take this opportunity to mention myself. My name is Alec Douglas. Some of you might know me. If you do know me well, you probably don't like me all that much, but that's okay. I'm like a fine wine that's soured. Argentina. So here we go. Sorry, Chile. I'm sitting beside Jorge, and we're talking about Chile. And funny fact, chili, the food that's common eaten in the southwest of the United States, is not actually from Chile. Burnaby, good platform off the line out. Unfortunately, they knocked the ball on. Seattle regrouping deep in their own end. They need to get something together. Seattle just needs to get some phases, same as Burnaby. Burnaby's the difference in the second half is that Burnaby's putting phases together. Brian Fitzpatrick, great take on the sideline. Speculative pass thrown back inside. Unfortunately, that it's been picked up. Bryce Warden with solid hands, taking the ball into contact, building phases, building pressure. Callum, the Scotsman from Stirling, takes the ball in. Legit, the land baron from the east. Building. Neo McLean, my son, with a little chip to the right side. Jack Galbart pouncing on the mistake. Is that a try? Conversing with the touch judge. That is a try. T-R-Y spells try, try, try. Burnaby Lake goes further ahead, showing their dominance. And ladies and gentlemen, something very exciting for myself. Kimi Vitaranga is coming onto the field. My favorite Fijian by far. I'm going to put the mic down so I can scream his name out in glee. Brian Fitzpatrick coming up with his conversion attempt. Trevor Flynn was just yelling at me about an OnlyFans page. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but if you search Trevor Flynn on OnlyFans, apparently he's on film quite a bit. Ooh, Brian Fitzpatrick shanks that hard to the left. That's okay. He's limping away. I don't know if that's an actual limp or that's just him just limping his shame away from a wide left kick. Mike, thank God you're back because a lot of things happen when you're gone.
What happened? I had to step away for a minute, unfortunately.
Jorge punched me in the cheek and said I had to stop talking.
Is this Jorge Parra, the owner of Underdog Productions, who does all the great videoing you find at Burnaby Lake and on the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club YouTube channel?
Jorge gave me a, oh my gosh, that's a kickoff that went in bounds. That's perfect.
That was a great kick.
Great
Whoa!
take. That is a yellow card.
Going to be at least a yellow, yeah.
Jorge gave me an interesting fact. Mike, do you know where Jorge's from Chile?
Uh-huh.
Do you know that chili, the food, is not actually from Chile?
Uh-huh.
Do you know where it's from? Jorge told me this.
America? Probably Chicago?
It's from China.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I don't believe Jorge. He's a dirty liar. Well, we have this break in action. Hyro got the worst of that one. We got some substitutions obviously made to see James Kawianuian, Brandon Tupufia. Sorry. And Ian Crilly have come on for Burnaby Lake. We see Kimi Vunataraga on, as well as Darren McCrory coming onto the wing. So looks like Don Baptista's day is done.
Number 19, Brandon Tuapua. He looks like a very large, aggressive man. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Who's that?
Number 19 for Seattle, Brandon Tubufua.
Ah.
Johnny Reed is chirping with people on the sidelines.
You don't want to talk to the sidelines.
Never really a good sign.
No. Johnny Reed arguing his case to the sideline, but he's not going to win that one. So Dave Smorchevsky speaking to touch judge Thomas Cooper about this while Hyro gets some treatment. While we're doing that, I'd like to bring up Insure BC. Speaking of injuries, Neil McLaughlin is a level 2 insurance broker servicing clients in British Columbia, Canada with all of their insurance needs in automobile, tenant, marine, commercial, and life insurance. If you find yourself needing any quotes or any further information, give Neil a call at 604-518-6721. Neil McLaughlin, the exclusive insurance broker of the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club. Also, DMS Mechanical. DMS Mechanical is the trusted source for all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. So if you have any plumbing, heating, or cooling needs, give DMS Mechanical a call at 604-291-8919 or visit their website, dmsmechanical.com today.
Does DMS stand for Dope Mechanical Services?
I believe it does.
We were talking about the Greg Gilding Memorial Golf Tournament. One of my greatest and fondest memories was actually at that golf tournament. And I look at the boys in blue wearing with the White Lightning logo on their left chest, representing Steve Batty. Steve Batty and myself and James Reekie and Gio Lamb, we had an amazing foursome at that tournament. One of my fondest memories.
Sounds sexy.
It was. I believe you could pay for. I believe you could pay for mulligans, and
yes, that is a thing.
We paid $350 for one hole to get an eagle, as all of us missed 5.5 putts each. Steve had such a great time that we absconded a golf cart while everyone was eating dinner. We just drove around the course, just reminiscing about the round that we just had. Well,
there was a yellow card there for Hyro, unfortunately for him. Now we see Evan Mackey getting ready to throw in here, right on the center line. 4-man lineup for Burnaby Lake. Into Callum Cruikshank off the top. He's got big Kimi Vunataraga in there. They'll be looking for him the whole time. Kimi come back from injury. I believe he cracked his pelvis or chipped his pelvis or something playing rugby league down in Florida for Canada versus the USA in... Oh, unfortunate for Jack Gelbart. Kimi, I think the game was in October-ish.
It was, yeah, and that was the first time that Canada has beaten the United States in 3 years, actually. We used to dominate them in the rugby league.
Mm-hmm.
Kimi was he came to me. Obviously, I have a rugby league background. Kimi came to me, wanted to represent Canada in rugby league.
You don't say.
His best avenue towards that. The man I speak highly about him every single time I talk. See him. Kimi is he's a freak athlete. When I first met him, he was a skinny little winger. Now he's playing back row, dominating. He is a able rugby player for sure.
Oh, Kimi's a beauty, and also the person I had in mind when I designed Scotty Barr's jersey. So,
you know what? I don't like
Scotty looks like he's wearing his big brother's shirt.
It's Scotty Barr that looks like something that someone would wear if they were going to go into a grocery store and steal slabs of beef.
I was the one who ordered the jerseys, and you can only deal with the statistics in front of you. And when I looked at the depth chart the day I ordered that jersey, number 13 for the Premier team was Kimi Vunataraga. So,
Scotty, I can tell you this right now. Got to get on the Liver King's ancestral diet, and we got to get you a bit bigger.
He would have had to go back 5 or 6 generations to his great-great-great-grandfather. Got him on that one. That jersey is built for a man who's 6'4" and 245 pounds.
Is he from Omaha as well, or is he from Opapa?
Scotty's from Omaha. Coming onto the field is Darius Towers. So, young man from Regina, Saskatchewan, taking off Callum Cruikshank. So I think we'll see David Dinbandu go to 8-man and bring Darius Towers into 7. Looking forward to seeing this guy. Came pretty highly touted.
I will give you a little bit of a scouting background on Darius. I've watched him play rugby league. His hands are pretty solid. Really, really good step. But the boy bangs. He whacks people.
Yes.
You give him a little space, and he is going to whack someone. He's hyped up right now. Watch this.
He has giant veins in his forearms. The guy works out a lot.
We used to know a guy who used to have giant veins in his biceps.
Oh, no. Turnover there. Gee, that's too bad. Ethan Soden. Burnaby Lake had the advantage, and unfortunately not going to get to go anywhere with it, but it'll be a scrum for Burnaby Lake. Scrum's been a strong point for them most of the game here. I think we'd, it seems like we've made a few changes there in the back row. I'd like to see maybe a few of the tight 5 guys switch out as they're carrying around a lot of weight. I know Bryce Warden, fit enough, usually goes 80 minutes at 100%. But I'd like to see a change made somewhere.
Juan Videla on the sideline is a unit.
He's a big dude.
Where's he from?
He's also from Argentina.
Argentina.
Juan Videla, longtime Burnaby Lake member, one of the original Argentinians.
You can tell a person's character by their social media posts. I mean, Ethan Stonen came to us from Sydney by way of some dreary town in England. Usually when people post about you on social media after you've left the club, it's usually a bit of terrible talk.
Ooh, Jack Gilbert streaming down the sideline here, one man to beat. Oh, probably should have passed that ball to Scotty Barr. Great tackle from number 15, Ian Wright. Didn't see what quite happened there. Kimmy drug into it, though, for some reason.
Kimmy just came. I want to let them know that he is the Polynesian on the field.
Is that what it was?
Yes. Him and I were actually watching Moana together last night.
Uh-huh.
And he said that
Jack Gilbert getting up slowly here.
If any of these Polynesians come through, he's going to let them know that he is the Polynesian.
Maybe that's what that was. He probably should have stayed of it. Jack Gilbert took a hard hit there. Number 15, Ian Wright. Great tackler. That was a one-on-one tackle, and he made a hit, not a tackle. So number 16, Alex Cannon, getting ready to throw in here.
Still no stories about cannons, though, Mike?
No, yeah, throw is a little low. Lineout's perhaps not as strong as it was in the first half. So Ethan Soden comes down with that. He's going to Neil McLean, who's going to pop to the Darius Tower, the aforementioned. Drives his leg, gains a little bit of yards there. Nice run for Darius. Brian Fitzpatrick trying to find some space there. Gets the ball down. Rossetti again into Neil McLean. He's going to find Scotty Barr over the top to Darren McCrory. You know, there's actually 3 guys who originally played the rugby at Omagh RFC, and I don't think any of them actually knew each other, as they're all 3 different ages before they met up at Burnaby Lake.
You know, Irish folks just don't really like knowing other Irish folks. It's one thing I found.
They happen to be a few years apart, so they just may have heard of each other. I mean, it's not a very big town, but yeah, they were not friends or did not know each other in Omagh.
You're assuming that they're friends now. They're actually mortal enemies on the field, which is actually
that's
I want to talk about someone right now. We're talking about our coach, Aaron. He's brought in people that are mortal enemies together to play on the same field.
Yeah, he's a facilitator of friendships for sure. Looks like Evan Mackey's going to be given a break, and we'll see Chase McCrum come on.
It's funny they say he's a facilitator of friendship because he's not any friend of mine.
That's fair. That's fair. Burnaby Lake a little slow to the defensive line. Cooper Johnson all over his opposite in the air. Burnaby Lake needs to get some structure back in their game. Cooper is protesting it, but he did bear hug the guy while they're in the air, which is certainly a penalty. So he probably should just return 10 yards and maybe zip it.
It's definitely getting niggly. With Seattle down by 23 points, a little bit of niggle might come into the game.
Nothing. Kick into touch there from Johnny Reed. Well, we have a break in the play. I'd like to thank the Burnaby Lake's official mortgage broker, Mike James of Dominion Lending. Most people know Mike as one of Canada's greatest rugby players, and more still know his contributions to our sport off the field as a coach of the BLRC and BC Bears. Many years on the BC Rugby Board, and a longtime supporter of his home club here, the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club. So whether you're a first-time buyer or an experienced buyer with excellent credit, Mike James at Dominion Lending Centers has access to the very best products and rates available across Canada. You go to mjamesmortgages.com today to get the best rate from arguably the most handsome mortgage broker in the business. I noticed that World Rugby has brought out a clip recently on all their social media of Mike James in a scrum versus Tonga from about 15 years ago, where Mike ends up being lifted up into the air in the mall. Sorry, not a scrum, a mall. A mall. He gets lifted up into the air by his opposition there from Tonga and is waving to the crowd in France.
Saluting the fans, yes. Mike James is also really well known as winning a BC Premiership with the First Division team, which I happen to captain.
BC Championship.
That's one thing that we have in common, Mike, outside of rugged handsomeness and a tendency to BS each other, is that we're both championship captains.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Alec. Yes, we are. It was a great time. You're a good player. I miss playing with you.
I'm playing with you right now.
This is true. Seattle attacking here. Some hard tackles. Chase McCrum made a hard one there on.
So we're talking
second row.
We were talking about being a father
Chase
earlier.
Bates, maybe.
My daughter is a big fan of Paw Patrol, and her favorite character is Chase.
Oh, really? I'm not that knowledgeable about Paw Patrol.
He's a police dog.
Oh, I see. Does he
that can
fight
talk
crimes?
and he runs around. Oh my, there's a try. That's a great line.
Number 15, Ian Wright, having a stormer of a second half here. He was the person that put that big hit on Jack Gelbart here along the sideline and just ran a great line to score, which will bring the score to 33-15. That's Ian Wright. Benches are pretty much getting emptied now. We see Liam Jung coming on for Lalit Bardawaj. Dean McMahon is on for Ezekiel Rossetti on the Burnaby Lake side. I believe, just by looking at it, Seattle has subbed on, of course, Alex Cannon, and the man I mistakenly called James Kawanui earlier was actually Brandon Tupufuia, but Kawanui is on now. I believe Jasper Bowen Shepard is on, Ian Crilly on, Nuri Drew was on early. And I'm looking for number 21, Ronald Dwyer. But I believe the benches have been emptied now. So Johnny Reed sets up for his what most likely will be a second conversion from that close.
Have you ever seen the movie Footloose, Mike?
I have seen the movie Footloose, though not for a very long time.
This feels like, as you say, the benches are empty. You know, like at the beginning of the movie Footloose, as the dance scene is starting, there's sort of this awkward pause between, do we dance, don't we dance? And then Kevin Bacon goes out there to flip his collar, and the glitter comes down from the ceiling. And then everyone empties the benches to dance. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, that does feel a bit like that.
Is it an awkward thing when the touch house has the biggest legs on the field?
Yes, Tom Cooper does not skip leg day. Just jacked calves on Tom Cooper, the touchy here in front of us.
Tom Cooper squatting for the boys.
Did a great job in the second division game earlier in the day. So, Ethan Turner with the restart. Had a very good game, Ethan. One of our best up-and-coming young players.
Ethan has the best feet at the club by far. His stepping game is crazy, and you mentioned it a few times. He's not shirked away from contact today, which is crazy when you think about someone who has that good of feet.
Yeah, that's big Ish Malima, who's come on at second row, comes away with that ball. David Dinbandu looks like he'll finish the game.
David did. Dino's going to go quick here. A little quick tap and go. Here we go. Dino
quick tap from Dean McMahon into big Ish Malima. Great ball carrier, but gets the ball off to Neil McLean, who goes into contact.
Mike, your man of the match from Burnaby. Who is it?
Sorry, with the game still in the balance. Nice run there from Darren McCrory. He's taken down by his opposite. Actually, that was Ian Wright again, of course. Great player. Darren McCrory is going to get penalized for a second motion there on the ground. A little extra roll there. I would say for Burnaby Lake, I usually go forward and back, but right now, forward of the game, I'm leaning towards, I think I would have to go with David Dinbandu, though Bryce Warden has made a case for himself with strong scrummaging, leadership, etc. Cooper Johnson also had a great game. In the backs, I would go with Brian Fitzpatrick. Neil McLean's had a great game, and Ethan Turner's made some timely tackles, but every time Brian gets the ball, we both, I find us both kind of standing up and watching what's happening because, he's dangerous. The guy can ball. He knows how to do things. So kept that ball in there. Great catch. He's going to pass it over to Jack Gelbart, who jumps in front of David Dinbandu. Hopefully he uses David, who's a big ball carrier. There it is. David Dinbandu, runs it into 3 or 4 tacklers. His knees are on the ground. They've got to let him go. Oh, actually, that was Liam Jung's feet who were on the ground.
Well, Mike, there's, we're friends, so I can say this honestly. You're wrong in
Fair enough.
Man of the match. The forward of the match is, I would say it's Evan Mackey.
Mackey had a great game.
His line of throws have been point on. He's gone through. In the backs, purely because I don't want Brian Fitzpatrick to have any more ego about him because he's got enough confidence already. My back of the game is definitely my son from Opapa, Neil McLean. Yeah, he's been great. He's been He slowed the game down when it needed to be slowed down. He's really, really organized properly. I think that's the right decision.
Niels had a great game. Controls the play from fly half very well. Perhaps doesn't have the long-term fly half pedigree of his opposite there, Johnny Reed. Niels originally a center, played center till just recently, but
this game is also being sponsored by Johnny Reed Insurance.
Johnny Reed's parents greased me a little bit to keep mentioning Johnny. I always thought Johnny Reed's pretty good player.
If you're looking for a dependable
Swing
10,
goes
just
down,
look for
unfortunately,
Johnny Reed.
Burnaby Lake front row flattened out there, but I think Smorchevsky will just tell everybody to reset here. No penalties. New front row on there with Liam Jung, longtime Burnaby Lake stalwart. About pound for pound, about the toughest scrummager there is. And a good club guy.
Panda is going against an athlete in this one. It's going to be difficult for Panda to keep it up. He's gone through so many variations of Panda. I like this Panda. I like skinny Panda.
Yep. Whoa, look at that. Big push there. Seattle needs to get this ball out. Is that Eric Soto at the back? Needs to get the ball out. Luckily he does. Taken down by Dean McMahon. Actually, that's Ian Crilly. Sorry. I guess Eric Soto has been subbed off. Apologies.
My question for you: Do you know the actor Matthew McConaughey?
I do.
He's gone through various roles and body he's morphed his body multiple times. I feel like this Panda version is the Dallas Buyers Club version of Panda. The Matthew McConaughey,
the AIDS drug addict version. Yeah.
That's he's not the what was that movie, the 70s movie where he was all right. He's not that version. He's
Dazed and Confused. I wish it was the Dazed and Confused one. It'd be a lot of fun.
He is Dazed and Confused, but that's the beauty of Panda is he can be both.
Just the other day, Panda had mentioned to me that though he gets older, they stay the same age, in reference to some girls that I thought it was inappropriate. But
Panda
number
looks
16,
like he's
Alex
wearing a
Cannon,
robe.
getting ready to throw in.
Panda's turn.
Chipped by Cooper Johnston. Burnaby Lake's going to come down with it.
Panda's wearing your jersey, Mike.
Yeah. Usually that jersey would be worn by Luca Bradley, who unfortunately broke his hand there last week. But Luca's about 6'2", 260.
I always harken back to the days of our past. But one of my favorite memories is Nate Mantle coming onto the field in the First Division Championship and be called Liam Jung the entire time because they had the names incorrect. Stu Vincent scored 5 tries.
5 tries, too.
But his name was not mentioned once because they had the wrong name.
That's right. He was wearing Steve Batty's jersey. They switched positions. That's right. Another scrum here. We'll see if Bryce Warden and Liam Jung have the same luck they did last time. Put in by Dean McMahon. Burnaby Lake's got the ball back. Ball out to Neil McLean. He's going to find Scotty Barr in the inside center. Out to Brian Fitzpatrick. Passes just not off. They're working, but not getting off the way they want them to. Jack Galbart gets the ball in. Neil McLean's going to be looking for a forward pod to his right. He finds one there in Darius Towers. Drives the ball in. Keeps driving his legs. Good job, Darius. Into McLean. McLean into big Bryce Warden. He's going to smash up into his opposite. Taken out at the knee. So he's a stinger. Now back to Scotty Barr. He's got Chase McCrum outside him, who's a deceptive ball carrier, but Scotty Barr is too. Yeah, probably might have held on to that one.
Mike, are you a betting man by any chance?
I am not.
Can we just pretend that you're a betting man?
Okie dokie, let's do it.
So plus or minus 4.5 years.
How much of a betting man am I? Do I have like serious addiction problems? Have I banned myself from the BCLC app?
Let's just do this for fun. Plus 4.5 years. You say plus or minus, and then I'll tell you what the bet is.
Okay.
So plus. Okay. D McMahon being bald. So you say it's going to be more than 4.5 years.
I mean, how bald?
I think he's going to be Jack Albert in
he's
3.5
balding
years.
like I'm fatting.
I mean, you have control over that. I say that Dean is going to be Jack Albert in 3.75 years.
That's fair enough.
Shall we bet George's hat on this?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
We see Juan Videla come on right now for David Dinbandu. Okay. So I imagine someone, probably Ish Malima or Cooper Johnson, will move to the back row. Ooh, Liam Jung moving to the back row. Fascinating. That jersey is really big on Liam, isn't it? It's the biggest jersey in the set. He couldn't. I mean, Juan Vidalla's one looks like it's painted on him.
He's the only person tucking his jersey in.
I don't know why he and Juan Vidalla didn't change shirts. Only about 5 minutes left in the game here. Burnaby Lake up 33-17. Would like, just for this last scrum, once again to thank our primary sponsor, Marcon, who you see on the front of the great-looking jerseys the guys are wearing today. Marcon Homes, been a trusted name in the Vancouver construction community for so long. Generous sponsors, and we couldn't do what we do here at the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club without them. So we'd like once again to thank Marcon Homes for their generosity. Hopefully you buy a condo today. Ball in. Dean McMahon makes the tackle. 2 or 3 Burnaby Lake defenders all over it, and they're all off their feet. Someone just driven into the legs of Ian Wright there at the breakdown. Johnny Reed will look to find touch here. Nice kick. That'll be just inside the Burnaby Lake 10-meter line. Seattle line out not as much of a sure thing as it was in the first half. But original starting second row, Jamie Demmer is still in. Another tall guy there at Ian Crilly. So a couple of good options. Really powerful looking prop in the front, number 17. Old-fashioned looking prop. Not concerned with hitting the gym every day. Scrummaging, the most important thing for a prop. I appreciate that. If you're not going to win scrum, you might as well be a flanker. Into the middle, into Demers. Off to Jack Cannon. Wonder if Jack Cannon and Alex Cannon are related. I didn't get any information on that. But number 9 and number 16, same last name, both rugby guys. You would think they might be. Ball out. Ishmael Lima's going to put the shoulder in there to Brian Tupafui. Darius Towers comes out with it. A couple of goose steps. Driving his legs. Seattle doing a pretty good job of holding the ball up. Ball squirted out, but Burnaby Lake's, retained it. No, Dave Smirchevsky going to say that went forward. It's probably the right call.
Darius is one of those rare talents that can play in the backs and the forwards. I don't know many other players who can do that.
I believe he was a back a few times. I believe he originally, although from Regina, I believe his last rugby was over in England where he said he was a back.
I think he played maybe on the wing at one point as well. It's a really hard transition from forward to back. There's not many people that have won back of the year and forward of the year before. I don't know how many have won.
Carly Walker is a legend, the Premier Women's Forward of the Year 1 year and then Back of the Year the next year. It's nice that you mentioned Carly Walker, a stalwart of Burnaby Lake Rugby Club for over 15 years. Currently back playing after a few stints as the team manager for a few years. And just a great person. Carly Walker, if you're listening, we appreciate you.
Hey, Mike, just a quick question. As you have quite a bit of power at this club, do you think that should be called the Alec Douglas
No, I don't.
Player of the Decade Award?
100% no. Ian Wright takes the ball in to Kimi Vunacharaga and Jack Gelbart. Nice tackle made. Ishmael
I
Lima
can't
on the
wait to
tackle
get in
there.
the showers with the boys. It's going to be great.
There's the big man, Jasper Bowen Shepherd. Old-fashioned looking prop, one of my favorite players in the field right now.
I guarantee you he has Vicks Vapor Up all over his chest.
I hope so. Oh, Scotty Barr almost with the interception. Out the back door. Guy without the jersey, without the number in the back of his jersey. Not sure of his name, but he's been with Seattle for a long time. I wish I knew his name. I'd shout out for him. He's been around a long time.
He's called The Guy.
That dude.
Jorge.
Time's winding down here.
Mike, I want to thank you for having me out again. The realization is that the last time I was here, I had a great time with you, and it was just a certain amount of time before you forgot about how our last experience went before you invited me back out. So I look forward to a game in July, maybe August, something like that. Memories are, you're like an elephant without memory.
Well, you're welcome back for this anytime. Anytime. So I think this has got to be getting close to the end here. We're at by my watch, we're at about 40 minutes. So there's no reason to keep going any longer. I don't believe Seattle's coming back, and I don't think they're getting a bonus point. So I think as soon as it hit 40 minutes on Dave Smorchevsky's watch, the game will be over. Ooh, lineout stolen there. Oh, almost stolen. Not stolen. 1. Not the way they drew it up, though. Into Kimi Vunitraga's hands. Around the corner to Bryce Warden, who bobbles it, but keeps it in.
Funny fact, Bryce Warden actually has a large collection of baubles.
Scotty Barr tackled hard. Dean McMahon gets the ball out.
Can you say hard again? I just want to hear that.
Hard.
Ooh.
Chase McCrum taken down by Johnny Reed.
His last name is McCrum?
Chase McCrum. Nicknamed Chesty McScrum.
It's so nice to see hookers playing for the team that are over 5'2" tall. Preston Petrovic, I'm talking about you.
The legend, Preston Petrovic. Ooh, big Juan Videla. Goes in a little too high.
Argentina.
Neil McLean, the show and go. Ooh, took a big hit there. Who was it? That wasn't Ian Wright again, was it? No, it's not.
I think it was the guy who tackled him.
Number 21, Ronald Dwyer with another hard tackle. Burnaby Lake just trying to waste the last few remaining minutes of time to the forward pods. Seattle is making them pay for it. Darius Towers takes the ball in.
Well, Seattle is coming from the States, which has really high record levels of inflation. If you want to really follow a president, you got to get rid of Joe Biden and get back to the Don, the orange man himself.
Certainly
inflation will lower.
Certainly Burnaby Lake does not endorse that. Do not endorse any political views, whether you agree with Alec or do not.
It's not a view, Mike. It's a lifestyle.
Ball's loose, penalty.
Ooh, they're going to take points, I think.
Well, maybe the game is not over. Maybe I tried to account for the injury time as best I could, but we are over 40 minutes a few minutes ago, based on my watch. So again, I do not have the official time, but it seemed to me like the game should be over and we should be able to get out of the cold and go inside.
This is, I think it's called salt rubbing wound type thing when you kick for points at the end of the game where you're up by, I'm not good at math, but I think it's 86 points.
I believe they should tap the ball and kick it out of bounds.
Mike, do you think this is a good time for us to just check off and just rush to the bar together?
Soon. Soon. It certainly is. Yeah, don't know how much time is left officially. You know, kick for points, I guess, whatever. Who knows? What do I know about kicking? But
if you're watching the game live right now, if you can live tweet me at Moose604LH. If you want to see Mike and I race to the bar together to see who wins, we will have a race. But if I can get, there's 4 of you following us right now. If we get more than 50%, which would be 3 people, Mike and I will race towards the bar for a Don King, or as they like to call it here, a Don King.
Yes, maybe the thought is that sometimes at the end of the season, based on weather raining out some games, point for and against plays into where you are in the standing. Maybe Burnaby Lake thinks add another 3 points. He better hit it if you're going to do this. He does. It's 3 points. That's going to make the final score 36-17 for Burnaby Lake after that 3-point convert or 3-point penalty kick from Brian Fitzpatrick. So let me ask you again here, Alec. For Burnaby Lake, your men of the match, forward and backs.
Forward, I definitely would go with Evan Mackey. I think his lineup throws were point on, especially knowing the difficulties that Burnaby's had in the first part of the season with our lineouts. I think he was a vital part of that. And for the backs, Neil McLean, my son from Ompapa, he just controlled the game. And when we were throwing those Hail Mary passes, trying to score tries off first phase, he started settling things down again, and that's when the points started coming.
Fair enough. And for Seattle, you're forward and back of the match.
Forward to the back, back of the match. I mean, it's rather honest. It's Johnny Reed. I mean, Johnny he controlled the entire game. Really, really impressive the way that he was able to sort of rally the troops. And my forward of the match would be Lou Elanusi.
Yeah, he had a major impact there in that first half. I mean, it seemed like every few minutes we were talking about him taking the ball in, crashing it up. He got taken off early. But, yeah, I think he certainly made a big impact, so I don't disagree with that. And Johnny Reed as well controlled the game. Everything you said was right. I'm going to go a slightly different route for my back of the match from Seattle. And based on the second half performance, I'm going to go with Ian Wright, number 15, who made just such an impressive tackle, ran that hard line, scored the try. He's coming by us now. Oh, classy. Clapping off the Burnaby. Well, there you go. Alec Doug's clapping them off. So, yeah, my back of the match is going to be Ian Wright. And, yeah, for Burnaby Lake, I guess we've already talked about it. But Neil McLean and Evan Mackey.
Really classy from Seattle right now. Clapping out the fans. More important, you know, the players play, the coaches coach. But the real stars of the day are the people that are talking on the microphone. So, Mike, I would like to give my announcer of the day, and it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I would like to give it to myself, but I'm not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to our silent partner, Jorge, to my right.
Jorge Parra. Well, thank you very much for everybody for tuning in. We're going to sign off here in a minute. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that there's the Memorial Fund for our fallen club member Steve Batty is still very active on the Rugby Canada Foundation. If you have any extra cash and would like to support that endeavor, the funds will go to support the Burnaby Lake Rugby Club as well as the UVic Vikes. You can donate through the Rugby Canada Foundation. Our next home game is going to be March 11th, so we'll be back on the mic then. Thank you very much to the referees, Dave Smorchevsky, and the touch judges, Tom Cooper and Christina Lovett. And we're going to sign off here. Thanks very much, George Parra, who's here on the computer with us in the booth, as well as to Weird Eric Nickel, the man, the myth, and the legend. Guys did some weird, crazy stuff up at Williams Lake. That's the nickname you get when you do some weird stuff like that around me. Yeah, he's a strange fellow. Made some awesome tackles today in the second division game. But we're going to sign off now and start to get packed up and get out of here. So we'll see everybody later. Thanks for tuning in.